$200. I said, well, let me go buy another hat. So I went down to their concession thing that they were selling hats on.
Yeah,
And I said, hey, $20 more.
yeah.
I don't have to have one. Hi, man. How are you today?
I've had a lot of comments on it. Nobody's with a negative one yet. I've had a lot of thumbs
Phone's off
up.
here, Mike, hold on.
Most around here, everything's pretty
I'll
cool.
make sure I got my phone turned off.
Oh,
I don't wanna be
funny
buying
hat.
donuts tonight.
Yeah, I better make sure.
You can't buy donuts tonight. Baker's closed.
Ow!
Good call.
So we're safe on Monday meeting.
Not that I wouldn't buy donuts, I just,
Call this meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll open up this meeting with public comment. Is there any public comment?
I would just mention, Bobby is on her way in, she maybe had a couple of things that she'd like to ask.
Okay.
She's right there. She's on her way in. Public comment is open.
Oh. I guess I just wanted to know if there was an actual final vote last week about Miss Slither, Julie?
About Julie, yes, I believe there was.
So on the video, it didn't show that there was an actual final vote after her comment.
Oh, okay.
I made the motion, Daryl seconded it.
Yes.
And then I asked, and I think then I asked. for
And
public
when
comment.
after that was done, I went to the table and asked if there was any comments on the commission on the matter. And there was resounding no comment at the time. And then, so, but I didn't ever hear the meeting.
As far as the video shows, there wasn't a final vote.
Right.
Okay. So what do we do now?
Just want to stand up.
In case there wasn't, I maybe call for the vote now, and cover it that way. What do the minutes say, Aaron?
I think the minutes said it was voted on, but I don't know that it actually.
The official record is your minutes.
Ms. Commissioner Obert moved to terminate Julie Lethert for cause. Motion seconded by Commissioner Folkford and carried.
But if there's any doubt about it, I
Yeah.
would suggest that we redo it.
Sure. I will move to reaffirm the vote of last Tuesday to terminate Julie Lethert for cause.
Is there a second?
I don't know, before I do that, I see Julie's here. Is there anything you wanna say, Julie?
Yes, I have a formal letter from grievance.
Okay.
This course,
And I
Robert.
would ask that we, well, go ahead, this is a different subject, and wasn't brought up last Friday, so I guess my request would actually be that we go ahead and reaffirm the vote and then move into public comment with this, since it was not part of the issue last week.
okay.
Let's see what it is, please.
Oops, sorry, Ann. I'm spreading it all over the place here.
So could you reread that motion, please, Ann?
Commissioner Obert moved to reaffirm the vote on February 25th to terminate Julie Lethert for cause.
It would have been the vote of the 19th of
The
February.
19th, excuse me.
So is there a second to that motion?
I feel we still need some further discussion on this, to be honest with you.
Okay,
I believe you need a second on the motion
Okay.
for discussion.
Okay.
Okay.
I will second it for discussion.
okay. Okay, discussion is open then, I would guess.
So, what was the period of time that went by from when Julie received her letter? Was it 1 week or 2 weeks?
Off the top of my head.
I'm thinking a week. No, 2 weeks, because, Julie, you can come up here if you want. Okay. So when you received your letter, we gave you a week to come back and respond, is that correct?
No, I responded, I got the letter on a Tuesday, and then you called me in for a meeting on Thursday. No, the following Thursday.
Yeah.
I had 10 days.
Okay, 10 days. So you had 10 days to prepare that response, right,
To that letter.
to that letter,
Mhm.
all right? And then it was how long before we made our decision?
The following Tuesday.
Okay. So,
I received the letter on the 4th. You had to call me in for a meeting on, because I was terminated exactly 2 weeks, or no, 2 weeks and 1 day from when I
Yeah.
got the letter.
so that was the 4th to the 19th, right?
Correct.
So 15 days,
Mhm.
sound right? I know that during that 15-day period, we were all fairly extensively engaged with our MACO attorneys and our HR representative, receiving guidance from them as to how we should proceed. So Julie, my question to you is, what evidence did you present to us that would be contrary to what they suggested.
Well, if you attended any of the commissioners' meetings during the year, you knew that there was certain things going on between, like I said in my letter, Nicole Brown and myself. No one ever came to me and talked to me about that. Nobody scheduled a meeting to discuss it with her. I sent numerous emails requesting information about subdivisions, being included in meetings and receiving subdivision application, which by the law I am supposed to. Never got anything. I haven't gotten anything from Nicole other than to review a COS in months, 6 months, 9 months, maybe something like that. So, the HR person never made an attempt to sit down and visit with Nicole or I. There was a meeting scheduled or supposed to be scheduled between Nicole and I with the commissioners. That never happened. So as far as what I would like to know is all of a sudden, how did this permit show up? You know, somebody purposely started digging to find some reason to terminate me instead of coming to me and asking me what happened? I mean, I get this letter about this septic permit just out of the clear blue sky. There was no attempt by HR to discuss anything or to resolve any of the issues, or by the commissioners, or by Nicole.
I realize there's a lot of history between you and Commissioner Obert and things that have happened in the past.
Yeah, she's harassed me
Let's
since she
not go-
started
let's not go
6
there.
years ago.
Julie, let's not go there. You're not helping
That's
yourself.
part of, this is
You're
part of it
You're not
though.
helping yourself,
This is part of it though.
okay? You're not helping yourself. I understand that. I really do.
So when it says that there are steps to take to
Mhm.
resolve issues, and you're supposed to try to do it informally before you formally terminate somebody that has gained, been here for as long as I have, none of those steps were taken. So I feel like the commissioners have violated, and HR have violated our personnel manual. Now, if I'd known that I needed to file a formal grievance against another employee, I certainly would have taken those steps. But I assume that down the road, we would eventually get this figured out instead of just kicking the can down the road and ignoring the problem. Because obviously, the problem hasn't went away. There was never any communication between Laura or Mike or myself, none whatsoever. Or Nicole, she never made any attempt to communicate with me either.
I'm sorry, can I ask on what?
The issues with planning and community development, you not
Hey,
including.
oh, stop. You don't talk to one another. You
Sorry.
make-
I'm not an employee
you-
anymore,
you-
okay?
it doesn't
I'm
matter.
not an
Doesn't
employee.
matter. You still address through the chairman.
So you can go ahead with what you were saying about.
I'm not gonna say anything more.
Nicole, can you tell us when you were, how it came about that this permit was issued?
And I'm sorry, I came
How the
in late.
permit
so I-
for the Gephardt subdivision was issued? How did it come to your attention that the septic permit had been issued?
From Connie and Gil, they told me that the permit was installed.
And that was after she had requested an address for power?
Correct.
Do you know when the septic was installed? When was the permit issued?
That I don't know. I've never seen the permit.
I have a question for you, Chairman Delger.
Yes.
Have you ever seen the permit?
No.
I thought you guys conducted an investigation into it.
The HR lady has the permit. Michelle Edmonds, I believe, has the permit. She's pretty much the one that did the investigation.
But she never contacted me.
Okay. Do you know, did Sarah Dupay, not Tara, did she see the permit, or do you know?
Not from me, I've
Okay.
seen it.
I will say that investigations of this sort are almost always and should always be done by an unbiased third party, which is what we did.
And that is who did this investigation?
Correct.
Commissioner Delger, may I make a comment?
Yes, ma'am.
I spoke with our HR person after I got the letter of insubordination last August. And I asked her how she was involved in all of this situation. And I asked her specifically if she assisted in helping Laura write the letter of insubordination. And she told me that she did. Tell me how an HR person that's supposed to be here for the employees assists a commissioner in writing a letter of insubordination. You think that I am supposed to trust her to go to her for counseling when she's in cahoots with Laura? Do you really think that I don't feel comfortable doing that. And I don't think that's how an HR person, and believe me, I know a couple of people that work as human resource people, and they say that is not the way it's done.
And I think the commission requested that Michelle help us with the letter so that the letter was worded properly.
You would have anybody check it for typographical errors or whatever.
Is there any further discussion?
Well, I mean, I think that Julie has a point. I think she should be given the opportunity to talk to those folks that conducted the investigation. And once that's happened, we can proceed from there.
Did you talk to Michelle Edmonds about overturning our decision of last week?
Nope.
I would ask that before we do that we recess this meeting and make those phone calls, and then come back with that decision. I am no HR expert, which is why I reach out to HR and Kenzie McCarthy 100% of the time. I would ask that you guys reach out to the experts who know the employment laws of the state and advise them of, or ask them your questions so that we are on solid ground for the good of the county.
May I make a comment, please?
Yes.
Does Ann record the meetings? Did she record last week's meeting with Julie?
I do not record it.
So the recorder wasn't on at all? The video camera?
I believe it was.
The video, yeah.
So if it was on, can you not see if the motion carried when she was actually terminated? And if she wasn't terminated, it's still open?
So we can't review that from there.
No, we have to go get it upstairs again. We could recess if you guys wanted to and then come back.
I think that we would.
Or we can go ahead and take care of this at the end of our meeting because we do have people here with appointments that are scheduled at a time.
So I would think that we would table this until the end of the meeting, and we'll go to the upstairs office and go through the film and call Michelle. So we will table this until then. Yes, Tim?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I brought this issue up multiple times, and I'm just gonna ask a real simple
Well,
question.
before you go, Tim, tell me who you represent. You represent yourself or the Broadwater Reporter?
Right now,
Because I'm having a problem here with you wearing two hats.
Well,
So tell me who you
It's a
represent.
public meeting, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask the question, and then I'll answer your question at the end. How's that?
Mr. Chairman, I would concur with Darrell. I would like to know from whom the question is coming.
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay? I'm gonna go ahead and this question is pertaining to the Broadwater Reporter. Okay? We have brought this question up about agendas multiple times, about making sure that we are able to afford the citizens the right to participate and the right to know. We just now had a public comment period, which this motion was made. Again, now it's been tabled, but this matter was not on the agenda today, and therefore, any official action taken not on the agenda is not only depriving the citizens the right to participate and the right to know, but it also is real difficult for us with the Broadwater Reporter to keep the people informed, because had they known this was going to be another decision made in this matter, they would have had an opportunity to appear or to make comments. That has not happened because it was not on the agenda. Number two, a week ago Friday, another meeting was held where the exit interview was held on the audit. The meeting should have been open and advertised to the public to be able to know what's going on there, and it was not. So again, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we really are trying very hard to make sure that we have the information in advance so that we can help the people be informed of what's going on here in Broadwater County. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, the audit was properly advertised.
The audit was posted last Friday.
If it was posted, it would maybe here at the courthouse, but it was never sent out in any correspondence that we've seen. We never did see it on the website. So therefore, Mr. Chairman, we just need to try and make sure we clean this up so we don't keep going down this road. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So do we, I would think that we would want to take this issue with Julie and table it until next Monday.
I would suggest that since it's been brought up, that we do our due diligence and look at the tape at the end of the meeting. I also think we need a call to Michelle, and I'm going to place a call, or we can do it by speakerphone, to Mackenzie, who is the chief legal counsel with NACO, and been involved in this from the beginning.
So we will table this till the end of the meeting and then we'll make some phone calls. Let's see, we'll move on to certificate of survey review. Bernadette, do you have anything for that?
No,
Yes,
sir.
okay. So we'll go on to Nicole Brown, Community Development Director, determine Valley Drive status as a public road.
Morning. So each of you received an email. I made sure it was in color. It looks like this with some information. I think I dropped that off with each of you. I'm also going to give you, let's see if I can see, I'll explain why I'm handing these out here in a moment. These are NCAs pertaining to county roads.
Thank you.
Do you want a chance to read through this, or do you want me to begin?
Go ahead.
Okay. So the question was asked, let me back up. I received some information from some citizens along Valley Drive looking to create an RID along Valley Drive. The question was asked whether or not an RID can be created on a non-county road. Short answer, yes, but only if it's a subdivision road. So Valley Drive is a road that accesses a subdivision, but it's not a subdivision road. It's also not a county road. So the reason that I gave you this email correspondence dating back to, I don't know when the first one is here, but it's from Tara Depew, NACO land use attorney, dating back to January 29th, where I first asked the question of her if an RID could be created on a non-county road. Short answer, no. However, a road can be declared a county road, and then we can proceed forward with the RID. A road can simply not be declared public, but it can be declared a county road. So the reason I gave you this information here, this is MCA 714-2103, and I'll just read it aloud for the record. Duties of county commissioners concerning county roads. A board of county commissioners has general supervision over the county roads within the county. A board may survey, view, lay out, record, open, work, and maintain county roads that are established in accordance with this chapter. I'm not going to complete the MCA. If anyone is interested, they can look up the rest of it. But basically what I want to point out in here is that a board of county commissioners may maintain county roads. Because we've had this discussion before on whether or not you are required to maintain a county road. Second one I gave you here, 714-2101. General powers of county relating to roads and bridges, definitions. Again, Board of County Commissioners may lay out, maintain, control, and manage county roads. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but that's the information I wanted to point out. So, in order to proceed with this RID, the commissioners would need to declare Valley Drive a county road. In order to declare Valley Drive a county road, you would need a petition, basically from the folks who live along that road, that they would like it to become a county road. And then we can proceed with the RID.
And the RID petition is not sufficient, because it would be part of the process to use for declaring the public road, correct? We would need a new petition?
You know, I'm not an attorney, so I can't say definitively, but I feel strongly that you would need a county road petition. You know, we do have a process in the county for declaring and petitioning county roads. I wouldn't feel comfortable moving forward with this process without that actual petition for it to become a county road, and for that process to be followed.
Who's responsible to bring that road up to county standards?
From what I'm gathering from here, again, you know, I would strongly encourage you to work with our county attorney to verify all of this, but from what I can find and from everything that I know, there is no obligation, because the county commissioners may maintain a county road, not shall. And the words may and shall are used very frequently in Montana Code Annotated. Obviously, may means you have the ability to, shall means you absolutely must.
Is the purpose of the RID to bring the road up to county standard?
It is for maintenance of the county road. Or, I'm sorry, of the road. Sorry, it's not a county road. For
Yeah,
maintenance.
but
Or
there's
for
difference-
improvements of the
There's
road.
a difference,
Right.
yeah, between improvements and bringing it up to a standard.
Correct. And I don't know that they were looking to bring it up to a standard necessarily. I know they did work with BSE in coming up with a bid for the improvements to the road.
May I say something here?
Yes.
Yes. Basically, I was kind of put at the head of the committee out there on Valley Drive. And I came into the courthouse, I researched what Valley Drive was. It is a public access, 60-foot public access. And I got that from the courthouse here. I have the paper that they
Can I see
gave me.
that, please?
Sure. We had originally had a meeting to see how we could improve that road some, because it is a horrible road. The water is washing down the middle of it, creating potholes and everything. So we had a meeting between, I advertised it down there for 30 days, and we had it at BSE in their office, or in their shop. Anyway, in the process, I was talking to Commissioner Obert, and she suggested that we do an RID on it, which we voted on and decided to do out there. I received the criteria for the RID, and this is the map of the area we included. I didn't want anybody to be excluded from there, so, or I outlined every area, every piece of property that was fed off of Valley Drive, so that everybody would be included. I sent mailers to them or contacted them and had them fill out the form that was provided to me by the county here to either approve or disapprove of having the RID done. I was told we needed 60%, which of 70, that would be 42 approvals. I got 50, and some didn't respond at all, so that left that where it was. So this is the outline of the area included. I don't know when this was established, but Valley Drive apparently was established long before this subdivision went in. And as it shows on that other piece of paper that I handed down, an access, 60-foot public access was established there. When this was put in, that access comes to this point. When the subdivision was put in, Valley Drive was extended from that point right there.
Here?
Correct. No, that's the highway, the other end,
Okay.
right there, yes. That was extended up through the entirety of the subdivision. I think that's all that this shows, yeah. I don't know, I couldn't get a date really when that first road was put in. I was told it was over 20 years ago. The subdivision itself is way later than that. And like I say, the road was extended, according to this, from that point up through the subdivision to this point right here. So that shows it from the highway to this point, and then this shows it from this point to this point.
Okay.
And then, of course, the subdivision roads within the subdivision. So basically, I took Laura's advice, sent out notified everybody on there, all 70 people that own pieces of property. I actually own 2, so I have 2 votes. And there are some others there that do too, own 2 pieces. So just to give you the background, that's why I wanted to talk to you, just to give you a background.
So you want, your proposal is from the highway here clear to this end?
Yes.
Okay.
This here section, in the RID, this is our first section to take care of. And by far the most expensive. VSE gave us a bid of $18,000 to improve that area. Because that is by far the worst area. I mean, it's becoming almost impassable. So
that's currently what it would cost to do.
to do the first section.
Do the first
we
section.
have, in the agreement, the petition, I outlined for 5 years, and Brandon with BSE
Okay.
gave us a price. First to do that the first year. The second year, to regrade this, come in here and regrade all these, and spread it up to 10 loads of gravel the second year. And then 3 through 5, third year through the 5th year, to come in and maintain it. Now, Brandon didn't want to go beyond 5 years, and I don't blame him, because costs vary, especially over a 5-year period.
Sure.
So in the petition, we limited it to 5 years. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th year is like $1,200. I mean, you know, it's nothing.
So, also, let me make sure I'm understanding. So you want to go from the highway to here, that's the portion you want to do. But you just mentioned that you want to do all these roads in the subdivision as well.
And they're included in the RID, yeah, but they're included at different points.
Okay.
Year 1, from here to here.
Okay.
Year 2, regrade this, grade these, add some gravel in here to where it needs it. Year 3, 4, and 5, just regrade them all,
Gotcha.
okay? Which is stated very
Okay.
well in the RID. Okay? So just giving you a background of what we're talking about. I was unaware. From reading this, I'm a little astounded to find out that now it has to be declared a public road. Because why else would they do an RID if everything is public to start with? It's the county that controls county roads, not private access roads. I would think, that would be my opinion. So I'm a little bit confused now that they're trying to say it's gotta be a county road. If it was a county road to start with, wouldn't you?
It's,
No, it's not a county road, it's a private access road for the people that live along it. But if it was a county road, you wouldn't need to go through all this, would you? You make the decisions on it, whether you maintain it, don't maintain it, whatever.
Yeah, but if you wanted an RID, you would still have to bring the petition requesting the RID.
If it was a county road,
Yes.
yeah. So I'm a little confused as to why you need an RID, why it has to become a county road in order to be an RID. That's a little confusing to me.
and that was not, we need to amend our RID, guidelines, if you will, because it's not stated in there. So I need to work on that. I'll bring those back before the commission to amend those. Because this is new information to me as well. I know Gary has done a really good job of gathering information and bids and moving forward on this, but now that we have this legal opinion, that, I'm gonna read to you a section from, Tara's email here. It says, if a road is to be constructed or improved, then the requirement is that it must be a public road.
It is a public road
Well,
right now.
but then I had a follow-up question of her, if the commissioners, let me find it because I stapled these out of order, so I'm sorry. Can the commissioners simply make a motion to declare a road public? She said county commissioners cannot declare a road to be public. They only have the authority to make roads a county road. So I'm not sure what the status of this road is.
Does it, you have a COS, there's a comment somewhere in here that says that, if it's on the COS, stating that it is a public road, then that means it's public. Do you have the COS that states the road is for public use?
No, what I did have was
Sentence.
this that I handed around before, that says it is a 60-foot public access.
All it is describe tracks. One of theirs, there's no declaration about being a county road, or being a public road.
What is the document you have, Gary, that states that it's a public road?
That's the only document
the
I
one?
have that states it's an access road.
Okay.
Not a public road, public access road, as far as I can see.
Does it say public access, though, that you saw there?
60 foot.
It
Well,
says-
obvious.
It says 60-foot wide access easement.
Now, there is something in your, I read it at one point, where it says that it becomes a public access after 5 years, and it's been over 20 years that it has been accessed by the people living in there. I don't know where I read that offhand.
It says here, a road leading to a subdivision could be part of an RSID if it is dedicated to the public.
And is this not dedicated to the public, making it a 60-foot access easement?
It would help if it said public easement, because an access easement could be an easement just for the people who own lots, or that could be the intention. If it says public, then that, in my mind, would be pretty clear, and it at least would give us the ability to have this conversation.
Well, I believe under the regulations, which I haven't, I don't remember where I read them, it said, but I read them, I know they're there, it says that if it's been used as a public access for 5 years, it automatically becomes a public access. And that road has been in there for 20 years, at least that I know of, or was
At
told.
least, yeah.
Cartwright actually told me it was over 20 years old. That would, so you may want to look at,
I don't know where you would have read that though.
you know, I read it in this paperwork you gave me, Nicole.
Okay.
Exactly where, I'm not sure.
The email says, a private road is normally made a public road by language in an easement or on a COS that states the road is for public use.
Uh-huh.
If the road is a, that doesn't have anything to do with it. So if either the language in an easement or the COS states public use, then that would be taking us to a whole different playing field.
Right.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
Not that it may be helpful, but especially during the time that COS just from here looked older, way older. Because of this, the terms private and public became more standard to use. But at that point in time, say 20 years ago or so, it was standard practice, it was assumed public unless it's specified private in the surveying world.
Do you have anything
Yeah,
documenting?
I don't have anything to document it, but that was the standard practice, that if it was private, it had to be specified as private and to who it was the use for. And otherwise, it was always assumed public. But as time went on and different cases came up, then it became more important to actually,
I read that.
you know, specify.
All I knew was I'd seen it for a
dedicated.
period of not less than 5 years.
But, you know, just historically, that was the standard.
You know, the whole controversy started here with, there's a few people on the first part of that road that don't want any dust or any traffic past there. About a third of them in that first area that I showed you, this area here, about a third of them want it improved. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 out of the 17 that are not in the subdivision. There are 53 in the subdivision, 17 that are not, for a total of 70. And there's probably 5 or 6 down here that are fighting it. They don't want it. They screamed about a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit. I said, well, we can put that in the RID if that's what you want. And they just blew me off. They didn't care whether it was 15 or 5 or 25. They just don't want people driving by their place. And they've been doing it for 20 years. I mean, I was a little surprised myself. Anyway, that's about as much as I have for you, unless you have some questions that possibly I can answer.
Mike?
You know, Mike, what I think that you're looking for is, the state has with the state law is what, and that's basically, she was right, that's what a lot of those come from, it's called historical use. That's how you get out from underneath, when they changed it to, you had the public road, you know, you had to change all that. But that's how you can get it changed, is a historical use type of, you know, nomenclature. You put that right on it, and that's the law that works through that, because that goes back to the 70s, doesn't it? So I think that's the one that you would look at.
Okay.
And my only concern on this, you know, I really want to commend Gary on all of the work he did on putting together the RID paperwork. I think it's great. I think it's beautiful when a community can come together and request assistance in this way. The burden financially is solely on those folks that are using that road. no cost to the county for the improvements. We just need to, you know, I guess make sure that everything is in order moving forward on this RID. And the fact that our Mako land use attorney says that a road must be public, in order to declare it public, it has to be county, or it has to be a subdivision road. I'm taking her at her word. So at this point, I don't know that I can move forward on the RID unless you, of course, instruct me to continue moving forward on the RID. If you feel comfortable that this road meets all of the requirements. I personally do not, based on the information from our Mako land use attorney, but I don't know if maybe this is something that the commission can run past Attorney Swanson and get his opinion on. Or do you want to maybe consider, you know, that these folks move forward on petitioning for a county road?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I appreciate that, Nicole, I think you're right. My only question is, in reading through this email, it's not clear to me. And I know that's what lawyers are trained for in law school, is don't be too clear. But the question is not to what has been discussed. It does appear to say that everything is we can move ahead if it's a public road. There is the historical use question. I do agree with Bernadette, you know, as time goes by, the laws become more specific, but we've seen a lot of instances where 20 years ago, the words public and private were not as required as they are today. And we're going back in time to look at the COSs and the easements that it's stated in Tara's email are the deciding factors. So for me, it's just not clear that we have to go to the petition process, the county road declaration process from Tara's email. So I agree with you. If her email did indeed say you can only do an RID on a county road, which is new information for us. It was not brought to us when we did the guidelines a few years ago, then that would be fine. But it's just not clear in this email. And I guess what I would like is clarification about the public word. And if she does say definitively, the only way you can do an RID is if it's a county road, then at least we know that that is the only way to move forward. We need the petition, because otherwise we need 100%, which we're not going to get. So I guess what I would like is just further clarification from Tara, if this is a public road or not. Does that make sense?
So, I'm going to re-ask the question to make sure that I'm hearing this correctly. So you would like me to clarify with Tara, I will ask Tara, if Valley Drive specifically is a public road? Do you want me to be specific with my ask, I guess is what I'm saying? Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I'd also like you to run this by Corey as well. I want to have his opinion.
Okay.
But I would like a deadline.
Yep.
The first questions were put out 4 months ago. We need this. I think those folks have waited long enough, and I want them to be assured that we're moving forward and we're keeping it a pace, even if they have to go out for another petition, that we're still moving forward.
Okay.
Bernadette has a question.
What's that?
Bernadette has a question.
Yes?
I just wanted to throw it out there too, I didn't look, but on the subdivision of Valley Heights, I think it is, you might double check that to see if those roads were dedicated to the public. And then the fact that it was using, that portion of road, you know, have legal counsel look at that, while that subdivision was approved, and those roads dedicated to the public, you know, if that would have any weight to how that was viewed at that point in time when that subdivision was approved, as that being public access. Again, rules change, and now you know, during the subdivision process, you have to prove access. So those regs were different, but the fact that it uses it to get to that subdivision, and if those roads are all dedicated to the public, that might have some backbone to it.
Thank you.
What's that?
Gary also.
Jerry, yeah?
Could you repeat your question or your statement to Nicole? And then Nicole, could you repeat your answer to her? Because I'm a little confused on it.
My question was pretty convoluted, so thanks for the opportunity to clear it. The email we have from our land use attorney, Tara Depew, is not clear in my opinion. It states that, it sounds to me like it states that you can move forward as long as it's a public road. But the discussion we're having is, it doesn't say public on the paperwork, and that's not the way it was done years ago. So what I would like from Tara is confirmation that we cannot move forward for a public road, and can we determine that this has already been declared a public road by use? And then Nicole's question back to me, which was much more clear, and I'll let her restate that.
So I'm going to specifically ask Tara Depew and Corey Swanson if Valley Drive is a public road, and I will include supporting documents for them to make their determination.
Okay.
And I requested a deadline so that we get an answer quickly rather than waiting.
Well, my question would be, does it have to be a county road? Because I don't believe it does.
That's my question too, Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which I wasn't clear when Nicole responded to you, that that's what she was gonna ask.
No, I'm going to ask, is Valley Drive a public road? So a public road and a county road are different.
Okay, so you wanna try to establish if it's a public road by use? Is that what you're saying?
Either use or dedication.
Okay. I understand, thank you.
So if it's a public road, then we don't have to go through the petition process to make it a county road. They just have to go through the petition process for the RID.
Correct. Yep, which I do have all of those petitions already. I don't feel comfortable moving forward with the information I have.
I agree. It's just not clear. Thank you for that.
Okay, so now we will move on to Nicole Brown, Community Development Director, request preliminary plat approval on 380 Views minor subdivision.
Bernadette, do you have an updated? Thank you.
Nothing really
Yeah.
waiting for the conditions.
Thank all of you.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, so this you have seen before, actually, December 2018. The 380 Views minor subdivision. We went through, they were given preliminary plat approval with the condition of constructing Big Sky Drive, which is here. You don't have one that shows Big Sky Drive eliminated, correct?
No, I
Okay,
did
that-
not,
that's fine.
because I was waiting to see if that was approved, or, you know, or how they were going to do
Okay.
that.
So this was the original preliminary plat. And then, I am so sorry, I don't know the date that we revoked it. The commission revoked preliminary plat based on information that the developer requested. I'll give you these updated findings of fact in my report, if the dates are in there, so I'm not bumbling through these dates. Here you are, would you like one?
Revoked January 14th.
Do you want this?
Yes, please.
I don't have the staff report, but that's the findings of fact. Okay, yes. The developer requested revocation of preliminary plat on January 14th, 2019. Subsequently, they came back and requested the abandonment of Big Sky Drive. Here's the paperwork. The commission had held the public hearing to abandon just this portion of Big Sky Drive. which is shown here. Unanimously, you all voted to abandon that portion of Big Sky Drive. Subsequently, we're back here now to request preliminary plat approval of the 380 Views minor subdivision. Would you like me to read the findings of fact and order in its entirety?
Mr. Chair, since that's already been read into the public record, I would request just the changes
Okay.
be read if it's good with both of you.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Didn't want to make any assumptions. So, I will read the amendments to the findings of fact and order report. And I notice I did not print page numbers, so just count as you go along. I'm so sorry about that. If you look on page 3, the top of page 3, and I'm counting the cover page as a page. I have added to the top of page 3 under proposal. Preliminary plat approval was previously granted on December 3rd, 2018 by the Board of County Commissioners. Upon receipt of new information, the developer made a request to the Board of County Commissioners to revoke preliminary plat in order to allow for amendment of the conditions of preliminary plat approval. Moving on to page 4. There's another amendment to the findings of fact and order report under effects on historical features at the bottom of the page. I previously had a statement in there, and I have removed this statement, and I'm showing it here with a line out so that that change can be reflected for the record. This statement has been removed. It is Mr. Murdo's recommendation that a cultural resource inventory be conducted in order to determine whether or not any additional historic sites exist. In replacement of that statement, I have added, based on new information provided by Mr. Murdo on December 10th, 2018, he states, after discussions with the landowner and based on previous ground disturbance in the area, we feel that there is a low likelihood cultural properties will be impacted. We, therefore, feel that a recommendation for a cultural resource inventory is unwarranted at this time. Page 5. Moving on to no changes made to page 6. Page 7 begins with condition number 2 at the top. I have removed condition number 8. This condition, do you want me to read the condition that is removed, I assume, or are you okay with it
No,
just being
okay.
gone and it's reflected here in the record? Okay, so condition number 8 was removed. Condition number 9 was removed. Next page, condition number 10. I want to talk about this one now. So condition number 10, I have it highlighted in here. It says the applicant shall contribute the cost to upgrade the existing road, Springville Lane, to Broadwater County subdivision road standards from the intersection with US Highway 287 to the driveway entrance of the westernmost lot. So let me tell you, the planning board was not able to make a recommendation on this development. We had a difficult time assembling a quorum, so you are not getting the planning board weigh-in here. I also have information that I want to discuss. I just need to find which file I popped it into here. The reason that this condition is highlighted, and for the record, I do not feel that this condition should be there, but I put it in here